All right, so the first step in this flow is we need to start with an account list, which are basically some companies that we want to reach out to and spend credits or money on. In this case, I've went ahead and used a very easy find company search within Clay. If you're gonna do the same, I strongly recommend doing extra qualification, but for the sake of the example, I've not done any extra qualification. Ideally, you would have a company list which already exists or which you're going to build custom for this example. So do like a highly qualified list, make sure these are actually relevant companies to reach out to later. Because of course we do not want to find out in hindsight they've triggered a buying signal. We want to reach out to them, we've pushed them to an SDR, and then in that case, they're doing something completely unrelated to what we need. But yeah, in this case, I've just went ahead and gone the easy route, find companies, fintech companies inside of Germany until 200 FTE. Um, and the real first step, yeah, so the previous found block table is the real first step, but I'm going to explain that a bit later. We're going to start with the AI agent. In this case, I've used the Clayagent, but of course you can use any type of AI or agent that you want to use. We just know this agent of Clay, it is pretty accurate for a use case and it does the job. So if you have enough credits, go and use that one. If not, there are a lot of workarounds you can use. In our example, we're going to look if this company has an ISO certification. Main goal is to know if a company has an ISO certification or has newly acquired one. So what we want to know is, in this case, this company, the first company, we know that they have one because the Clay agent has found one previously. So these, they are not relevant for us anymore. We want to know within a month, a day, a week, whatever, when a company has a new ISO certification published on their LinkedIn, on their website, wherever. So that is why we're running this table. And in our case, we're running it every month, but you can run it weekly, daily, whatever. And we're basically just monitoring all these companies. Each month, the AI is going to visit like a lot of different pages. In this case, 9 different steps. It's visiting their website, different pages on the website, different partnership pages. It's going through a lot of data and trying to figure out, hey, does this company have an ISO certification? In this case, they do not. ISO not found. So next month we're going to try again. And of course, hopefully we're going to find something because that means they've likely newly acquired one and we want to reach out to them. So the AI is also going to give the reasoning behind if it's found or not. And then in cases where it's found, it's going to send it to the new table, which is the company table. And once a company exists on here, so here you can see Prestatec, they're going to be excluded from future runs because they're on the previous found table, which means we're not going to waste credits on them anymore because we know they already have a certification. Now, in these cases, we've not found anything, so we are going to run an Apify actor. Basically, the Apify actor that we're using, not sure why it's showing it like this, but the Apify actor that we're using is a scrape LinkedIn company page actor. And basically what it does is it's going to check, as you can see, post limit month. Each month it's going to scrape all company posts. I've limited it to 10 in this case, but each month it's going to scrape all company page posts from, in this case, Neosphere. So if we're going to click through the results, we found the content of their post, type post, and basically everything that they've been talking about or whatever in their post. We're going to scrape the content. Of course, we're also going to scrape the URL. You can scrape comments. You can scrape whatever you need. What we're doing with that is we're having Gemini analyze all the content found within these posts and look for mentions if the company is starting an ISO audit or if they've recently completed their ISO audit, if they have a new certification. Because typically we know from examples that companies are pretty proud of this and want to post it on LinkedIn. In this case, we're only using company page, but you can also do like the founder or the CTO. Typically, they're also going to post about topics like this. The reason why we're using Gemini is because we know that from a lot of testing, Gemini handles the large context window pretty good. So it's a lot of text, which, like other models like OpenAI, most of them do not handle pretty good. So considering cost effectiveness, Gemini works best for us, but you might find it different. You might want to use OpenAI, whatever. Of course, feel free to do so. In this case, nothing is found, but if it would be, they would be sent to the next table, which is in our case called company table. So here we have 3 companies where we found an ISO 27001. The reasoning behind it is basically just the AI explaining, yeah, our company is certified found on their page. First step, what we're going to do here is we are going to send a Slack approval to the Slack channel, as you've seen in the example, which basically says new signal detected, the company with the company name, LinkedIn with their LinkedIn URL, certification with which one is found, and with a question, add to CRM. We're using the send for approval to Slack channel integration in Clay, which basically pushes this company to our Slack. So we directly get notified. We can click approve or deny based on the company. If we want to check their LinkedIn first or the company, see if they're really relevant. In this case, I've went ahead and approved all 3. First step, which we're doing, is we're going to add them to our HubSpot CRM. You can connect Clay with basically any CRM through an HTTP API, or if you're on the enterprise account, you can directly integrate your CRM if it's HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive. In this case, we're using the HTTP API because we have more freedom and it's just a lot easier. I'll go ahead and include a video on how to set this up, but it's super easy. So in this case, the endpoint is going to stay the same for you. You're going to send data to a company page. You're going to do a post method. And then when you're looking at the body, very simple. You can change like a lot of things. We're only going to add the name and the domain in this example to stay simple. Headers are going to be content type application /JSON, authorization bearer, and then instead of here, you're going to paste your API or your secret key that you're going to find inside of HubSpot itself, which I've, of course, not included in this example because I do not want other people having our API key. But yeah, as you can see, we did actually add it before, so they're going to be added to our HubSpot with their URL, so we can open this and find them in our CRM again. Then if this has successfully been done, we're going to start another Slack message in our channel, same channel as before. Company name has been added to CRM, start outreach flow. Again, I've approved all 3 of them in this example, which sends them to a people table. Here with the 3 companies again. And then we are gonna try and find people at the company who might be relevant to reach out to. So this can be founders, this can be CTOs, this can be whatever your buying signal is and who might be relevant for you. And we're gonna try and find an email and a mobile phone number of them. In this case, we've used the survey integration within Clay just because it's a very easy integration. It's super cheap. Everyone can use it. If you want to go a bit more accurate, you can use like a lot of different find people options. You can use your own databases. We're using Prospeo a lot if we're doing this on scale. You can use Apollo. You can use basically anything that you like. What I recommend is integrating a couple of the find people databases. So first might be Apollo, second might be Prospeo, third might be whatever, just to make sure your coverage is as accurate as possible. And we're going to find two people or however many people you want. We're doing the same with their emails. So we're using a data waterfall. In this case, we're using the standard waterfalls within Clay. But of course, if you have access to your own databases like Prospeo or whatever, make sure to use the API keys there and switch them around. In this case, we found two people here, two emails, and then for those, we found two people within the same company, found both of them. We get their mobile phone numbers. We're going to add them to HubSpot same way as before, but then just make sure that your endpoint is different towards context. Then we're going to do the same with Lemlist. I've not gone ahead and set it up because we do not want to reach out to them, but it's basically completely the same. I'll include a document on how to connect Lemlist, but you can do this with Smart Leads through the direct integration, add lead to campaign. You can do this with Lemlist with the direct integration. You can do this with Instantly with a direct integration. Like Clay has a lot of the add lead to campaign options with a lot of the sequencers and sending tools. But as you can see in the example, you can also still use an HTTP API within Clay. If you have a more niche sequencer that does not have an integration with Clay. And again, final step, we're going to send a message. Again, however many people were found, company name, you can customize everything here. And basically just get a final notification like, okay, person has been found, add it to the CRM and add it to your sequencer. So yeah, this is a very basic example of how you can use custom buying signals. But again, the goal is not to overcomplicate this. You can rebuild it inside of N8N pretty easy as well. But again, just for the sake of the example, Clay is likely going to be your easiest plug and play option that you're going to find out there. Yeah, so right now we're doing this with ISO, but you can do it with a lot of different examples. I'll include some in the document. Again, here the goal is to make sure that we're finding custom signals whenever we want to reach out to a company. For example, when they increase the prices on the website, it might be relevant for you. Whenever they publish a certain blog about a certain topic, a lot of different niche use cases you can figure out here yourself. And all with the end goal of being more relevant than saying, hey, congrats on the funding signal that everyone has, or I've seen an open vacancy job post, which also everyone has and everyone reaches out about. So yeah, hopefully you've learned something from this flow. If not, happy to receive the feedback, whatever you want to see different. And if so, also super happy that you've learned something, that you've maybe gotten a few different ideas on how to set this up. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or any remarks about the workflow. We're always happy to help. All right, enjoy your day.